Welcome. Here we are going to ask very simple question to our friends. The question is very simple. Try to listen and answer. What is the amount of weight you can lift by without any machine? Say by your hand, suppose. What is the weight you can lift? I am revising the question. What is the weight you can lift without any machine? Without help of any machine, what is the weight you can lift? And you have to give the answer.
I can lift weight up to 20 kg.
Okay.
I can lift weight 5 kg.
Very nice.
I can lift 15 kg.
All right.
I can lift 40 kg weight at a time.
Okay. Okay, try to extend your capacities, because whatever answers given by you are not that adequate answer. You have much more capacity than what you are stating. So try to give or extend your capacities and try to give the answer again.
Maximum weight I can lift is up to 25 to 30 kg, not more than that.
All right.
Maximum I can lift weight 5 to 7 kg, not more than that.
Very nice.
Maximum weight I can lift 25 kg.
Okay.
Not more than that.
I can lift 50 to 55 kg weight at a time, not more than.
Okay, that's all. That's all. Now question that was asked to everybody, that my same answer, now I am going to give this answer. Obviously this is not given by me. Actually earlier scholars have explained these all concepts to us, and I am going to explain that concept again in front of you. We don't have proper knowledge of our capacities. We means many of us, they are not having that proper knowledge of our capacity. There are some capacities within us, but we are not able to explore that or present in front of each other. Like that, here the question was asked, how much weight one can lift by their body, and you are getting various answers from that, but nobody here was able to give answer that is more than 100 kg. But actual answer is that here I can say that I can lift weight more than 10,000 kg. That is almost the weight of 3 elephants. This is very, very huge weight I can lift. No, I am right now in front of you. I am lifting out that much weight here. How? We have to go to whiteboard and find out the answer, because some calculations and some knowledge of pressure, force, etc. is essential for that. So in next 20 to 25 minutes, we are going to find out answer how we can lift out the weight, or how we are lifting out weight that is more than 10,000 kg right now. Say, we have to now find out answer how one can lift out weight that is more than 10,000 kg. Or what is the word? I have used that I am right now lifting more than 10,000 kg weight. So how? That we have to check out. For that purpose, deeper knowledge of physics, deeper as well as fundamental, very fundamental level knowledge of physics and deeper, both are required here. So those who are from science background, they will not find this at all difficult. But if you are not from science background, then consider the examples given here and try to follow, try to give as much effort, you will get follow. So let us check out first thing, that how we can able to lift this 10,000 kg or plus weight here. For that purpose, first consider this situation. You are standing on this earth. Now this earth, suppose you are standing over here, this earth is having a jacket of atmosphere, jacket of gases, we are calling that as atmosphere. Even from height of 400 kilometers from Earth's surface, there is presence of atmosphere. Even more than 800 kilometer, we got presence of atmosphere. But this atmosphere is not dense as we are moving at higher the altitude. Lower the altitude means height. As I am close to surface of Earth, atmosphere is dense. And as we are moving away from surface of Earth, atmosphere become rare and still rare. Now here, question is that why these gases are sticking to Earth? Obvious answer is because of gravitational force. Earth is pulling each and everything towards itself. And so I am saying Earth is pulling each and everything towards herself. So here I am saying this way, that from every part of atmosphere, the pressure is generated on the surface of Earth. So suppose we are standing over here, whatever the weight of atmosphere we are bearing out here, and that's why I am saying this is very high amount of weight we are bearing out here. Now let us check out how it works. There is pressure of this atmosphere or surface of Earth, as we use word, but we have to find out what is the meaning of pressure. Now the pressure, that is force applied in unit area. We are defining pressure this way: force applied in perpendicular direction on unit area. Then that is called as pressure. You may realize pressure in various ways. Let us check out. First thing, that you are there in hilly area, and suppose you are getting down the hill, you will find that certain pressure is there generated on your ear portion. Why? Because at higher altitude atmospheric pressure is low. As we are moving towards lower altitude, atmospheric pressure increases, and therefore you will find the pressure on ear. If you are that sensitive, or particularly we are moving with car or railway, or even from high story building you are getting down by lift, then also we are getting the same thing, that the pressure will generated, and just yawn out, you will get the relaxed sense. Because when you are yawning, here the eustachian tubes are there. These tubes are controlling out the balance of pressure from inside as well as from outside. So here, because of that, balance of atmospheric pressure is created. Now this pressure is there. I have to check out how we can solve certain problem here with help of this pressure. So let us check out first what is pressure, and side by side I am explaining you various ideas of physics along with getting this knowledge. So first thing, let me check what is pressure. So here the pressure, as I have said, the definition of pressure here is force applied in perpendicular direction on unit area, unit surface area. So it is force applied in perpendicular direction on unit surface area. So I am writing here area, that is force applied. Now in SI system, meter is the unit. So surface area, so we have to go by square because this is unit of area. So meter square. So pressure equal to force applied per meter square area. That is called as pressure. Again, question is that what is force? Now let us check out what is force. So definition of force is given as mass into acceleration. So when we are saying mass into acceleration, that is pressure. Now again question is that unit of mass, that is kilogram. But what is unit of acceleration? But what is acceleration first? That I have to check. Now here acceleration is called as rate of change of velocity. I am revising, rate of change of velocity. Again question is that what is velocity? Can I consider the speed and velocity as same? Let us check out. So by getting answer what is pressure, we discuss about force. Now we are discussing about acceleration. Now in order to find out acceleration, we are going to discuss about velocity. What is difference between speed and what is difference between speed and velocity? Obviously, again I have to check out what is displacement and distance. Let us check out velocity. We are saying it is displacement upon time, whereas speed we are calling as distance upon time. So I am writing here that velocity, either I can write v or I can write u. Usually we are considering initial velocity as u and final velocity as v. So u or v, whatever that is equal to displacement. This is not my problem, this is problem of Roman letters, that capital as well as small, both s are looking similar. That's why purposefully I am writing here somewhat bigger way. This is symbol of displacement upon time, that is velocity. Now speed, I may consider this way, that speed that is equal to distance upon time. So here the change is that here I am using word displacement and here I am using word distance. Now we have to check out what is distance and what is displacement. Let us check out on map only. This is the map of Mumbai somewhat. This is mainland India, this is a creek, whereas these islands we are calling as islands of Mumbai. I have to travel, suppose from here, the CST, and I have to reach at here somewhere, this is Alibag. So suppose I have to travel from Mumbai to Alibag. I will go by ordinary way, that is bus. So suppose I am going by bus, my traveling will be like that. Here there is area, that is Mankhurd. From that I will travel, then in order to cross this creek there is bridge, then I will travel along with the line this way. Again I will go here, somewhere here there is Panvel, then there is Pen, and from that here I will travel this way. So I am traveling out very long distance. But what is my displacement? Ultimately this is the initial position and this is the final position. So what is straight line distance between initial position and final position? That is my displacement. Now consider I am a rich man, I am having helicopter, I am just starting out from point A with my helicopter, and suppose all Navy etc. they are allowing me, then I will travel straight way here and I will reach at this place. So straight line distance is there, that is very less distance. If you are using out Google Earth software, then you can check out simply by pointing out 2 points, what is distance between these 2 points. But remember, there is curvature of Earth also. So at that time something is going different, but right now forget of curvature. So for smaller distance I can say this is straight line distance between A and B. We are calling this as displacement. Whereas if I was traveling by bus, then what is the total this distance cover, that we are calling as distance. You may go by this way also. Suppose this is circle. Person starts from point A. The circumference of this circle is 1 kilometer. That person is walking around this circumference and ultimately he reach point B, which is 1 kilometer away from A. That means A and B are both same because this distance is 1 kilometer. So what is the final distance he traveled? That is 1 kilometer. But what is displacement? His initial position was same and final position is also same. So displacement is 0. So this way one can say sometime distance is more but displacement is 0 also. If you are traveling along Himalayas, then also you will get same experience. For longer period you are observing same scenery. No doubt that scenery is very beautiful, but I can't observe for longer time that. ultimately you will reach at same point almost, only other side of the valley. Say this way, I will travel, this is the part where I am observing, from that this point I am able to observe, but after that my journey is going like this somewhere, and then I will reach at this point. So what is distance traveled? Distance travel is this much. What is displacement? Displacement is just straight line distance between these 2 points. So I hope now what is distance and what is displacement, this part is clear for you. Now you are aware what is acceleration, but that is rate of change of velocity, but I have to explain in detail now. So let us check out acceleration is rate of change of velocity. Now here what is change of velocity? That is difference between initial velocity and final velocity, or rather I should say final velocity and initial velocity. So here my final velocity will be v and initial velocity, that is u. Now it is v minus u is change in velocity. Now I want to discuss, that is rate of change of velocity. In order to explain this rate of change of velocity, I must divide this by time. With respect to time we are checking. So this is acceleration, that is equal to v minus u, that is final velocity minus initial velocity upon time. Now here I must consider that what is v, that is velocity, unit is meters per second. So I must say here m1 meter per second. Now second, that is u, again it is velocity, so it is meter per second, so m2 meter per second, divided by time. Time must be in seconds. I may say second, that is equal to s by 1, anything I can divide by 1 here. So what is the ultimate thing? That m1 minus m2 upon s. Don't say s to s, it is s only, denominator is common. Now this is dividing, I can say it is 1 by s. So this way I am getting here m1 minus m2 upon s into 1 by s. Now m1 minus m2, but ultimate answer is some meters, it is some meters upon s square, because s into s, when we are multiplying we have to multiply this by s into s, so we are getting meter per second square. I can write this as meter per second square, or by using laws of indices I can take out this s raised to 2 at numerator by changing its sign, so it is meter per second square, but while writing I have to say raised to minus 2. So this is the unit of acceleration. So what is acceleration? That is rate of change of velocity, that is the acceleration. So here I am getting unit of this acceleration, that is meter per second square. So here I am now writing out unit of acceleration, that is meter per second square. Now it's obvious that this is kilogram. Now we are focusing on force again. So what is force? That is mass into acceleration. So mass unit is kilogram into meters per second square. So it is written as this way also, kilogram meter per second square. But the force is defined properly by a great scientist, that is Isaac Newton, and in honor of him the name is given as Newton. So what is force? The force is mass into acceleration. Now you are aware of mass, you are aware of acceleration. The units are given here, that is kilogram meter per second square. But now we are in honor of Newton, we are saying this kilogram meter per second square as Newton. So this is the unit of force. So in order to find out pressure, we must aware what is force upon area. Now you are aware of force, you are aware of area, and from that we can get this data, the unit of pressure. Now I am removing this part. So you are aware that pressure equal to unit of force is Newton upon meter square. So Newton per meter square, I can write this as Newton per meter square. Even I can write this as Newton per meter square. Now this is the SI unit of pressure. What is pressure? Force applied on unit area. Now here Newton per meter square. Now in order to honor the work by Pascal, a great scientist who worked on pressure, this unit is considered as 1 Pascal. Usually we are saying this is in terms of Pascal, but many times we are using it is Newton per meter square. So Newton per meter square or Pascal. You are aware of now Newton word, that is Newton means what? It is kilogram meter per second square. Now I am taking you away from the subject for a while. It is not actually away from the subject, but how we are going to measure the pressure. Say this is theoretically all right, force per unit area, but how we are going to measure the pressure? Now for that purpose, an instrument is derived. This is called as barometer. For that purpose, we have to take. Now my drawing is not perfect. You can just imagine whatever I am drawing. This is a tube which is called as hard glass tube. Why hard glass? We will check out later. So this is hard glass tube which is filled with Hg. What is Hg? That is mercury, the metal in liquid state. So mercury, Latin name is hydrargyrum, so it is abbreviated as Hg, or symbol of mercury is given as Hg. Now this tube is filled with mercury. Again question is that why mercury only, why not water? If any liquid is there, then we can use water also, but water is having comparatively less density, mercury is having very high density. The liquid with high density, that is mercury. Now what is density? Density equal to mass upon volume. So this way we have density, that density equal to mass upon volume. Here this is filled with mercury. Now we have to take another dish, vessel, which is filled with mercury. Keep in mind, when I am showing upper border of mercury, I have to show this way. Here also, when I am saying it is filled with mercury, this border should show like this. Now here it is already filled with mercury here. I have to make this tube inverted in this vessel. So like that I am keeping this tube inverted. Imagine the diameter of tube is fixed. This is having height of 1 meter. It is not looking 1 meter, but imagine this is 1 meter height. This is just schematic diagram. Now what is the thing? That mercury should flow down. Why? Because of gravitational motion, gravitational force, mercury should come down. Now as we are expecting here that mercury should come down, and level inside and outside of the thing should be same, but no. Why? Because this is very dense metal, and when mercury start coming down, air is trying to go inside, but there is no way to go inside air. And so as mercury comes down, suppose this is the level, here we are getting a vacuum. This is called as Torricelli's vacuum. Why? Because this instrument, the first type of this type of instrument was derived by Torricelli. So this vacuum we are calling as Torricelli's vacuum. Now this way, here vacuum is created. So as mercury start flowing down, this vacuum start pulling out mercury over upside. So mercury is pulled in this way. Another reason is that there is atmospheric pressure here and this is pressing down the mercury. So mercury is trying to come out here, but there is pressure which is from upside which balance out here, and then ultimately there is formation of equilibrium. So as equilibrium is formed, some adjustment is done here, that is the height is stable, here we are getting vacuum, this level is of mercury. Now suppose I am going to sea level except Dead Sea, any sea, I am going at sea level and using this instrument I am checking out the height. This height should be 760 mm of mercury, that is 76 centimeter, millimeter 760, centimeter 76, or in terms of meter divided by 100 I can say 0.76 meter. Usually this barometer we are talking in terms of mm. So this way we are having barometer. With help of barometer we can find out at sea level the height of mercury should be 760 mm of mercury. This pressure is called as 1 atmospheric pressure. Try to recollect now what word I am using here. 1 atmospheric pressure. For pressure so many units are there. No doubt as we are discussing out first unit, that is SI unit, that is Newton per meter square. In honor of Pascal we are calling that as Pascal. Now I am calling here 760 mm of mercury, and now I am calling that 760 mm of mercury, that means 1 atmospheric pressure. Now 1 atmospheric pressure and kilo in terms of Newton per meter square, how we can correlate? Here the formula for correlation is okay. Another suggestion that you can observe this video twice, thrice, like that. So first try to understand the concept, second time try to write with me. Okay, so we are finding out here what is connection between 1 atmospheric pressure, that is 760 millimeter of mercury, and in terms of newtons per meter square or in terms of Pascal. So here 1 atmospheric pressure, that is 101.325 kilonewton per meter square. Now this data is there, that 1 atmospheric pressure that is calibrated here with this, that is as 101.325 kilonewtons per meter square. Now here 101.325 into 1000. Why? Because kilo stands for 1000. So I am multiplying here by 1000 newtons per meter square. So ultimately I got connection between 1 atmospheric pressure and Newton per meter square. Now this multiplication I am carrying out decimal, as 3 zeros are there, I have to shift decimal 3 places towards right. So answer is 101.325 Newton per meter square. What is this? Pressure. So 1 atmospheric pressure, that is equal to 101.325 kilonewton, Newton per meter square. Now what is pressure? The pressure, that is equal to force upon area. Suppose I am considering this pressure per meter square. Suppose there is say a piece of wood which is having length 1 meter and breadth 1 meter. So square of 1 meter by 1 meter, that is 1 meter square area, that is there on my head. Then what is pressure given by atmosphere? That is, here I have to say force upon 1 meter square area, and here also I am getting same thing, that Newton per meter square. So I can cancel out meter square. Say here it is dividing. Here I can say it will be come at top, and I can cancel out. So ultimately, what force we are balancing out? That is 101,325 Newton. But what is force? You are aware now, the force, that is mass into acceleration. So here Newton, that is kilogram meter per second square. Now as pressure, we can say the force acting in perpendicular direction on unit area. So what is force? That is gravitational force here, and therefore what is acceleration? That is gravitational acceleration. So here I am replacing this by a type of acceleration that is called as gravitational acceleration. Its value is not constant. On pole and on equator value changes. That means in that range value changes. So we are getting the value of G as 9.78 meter per second square on equator, whereas 9.83 at polar region. Generally we are considering this value as G, that is equal to 9.8 meter per second square. This is average value of G we are considering. Now for our sake of convenience, we are saying this is 10 meter per second square. So I am increasing out value actually. So here the mass into gravitational acceleration, that is 10, that is equal to 101,325 kilogram meter per second square. Now I am removing out this term. So here we are getting mass equal to, I am removing out unit, that G meter per second square. So here it is 10. So decimal is here. I am dividing by 10, so I have to shift towards left. So it is 10132.5 kg. So just check out, this is the answer. I can lift 10,132.5 kg mass. So this much mass right now I am lifting out. Suppose I am lifting out, say, this pen weighing only 10 gram. Then also this weight plus 10 gram I am lifting. Now check out the first person that was saying something, I can lift out 50 kg weight. So what weight he can actually lift? That is 101.325 plus 50 kg. So like that everybody of us, say suppose somebody is weightlifter, he or she can lift out 200 kg weight. So what 200 kg, that is already he is lifting out 10,132.5 kg plus 200 kg. Actually this is not this, it is somewhat greater than that. Why? Because we are dividing by 9.8 actually. I am just considering here 10, but practically we should divide it by 9.8. So this way already we are lifting out tremendous weight. And then we are saying that whatever extra weight is we are lifting out. Now try to remember, when we are discussing about barometer, we discuss hard glass tube. Why hard glass tube? Because inside there is vacuum. Try to recollect, Torricelli's vacuum was there. So here it is vacuum. Force is not balanced out. Say whatever the external force, if there is no vacuum, then ordinary glass tube is there. The pressure can be balanced out from inside as well as outside. But as it is vacuum, so there is no inside force, only outside force. So movement is in one direction and ordinary glass tube will rupture. Why? Because 3 elephants, say here 10,132 kilogram, they are pressurizing this part, and therefore we required here hard glass tube. So whenever we are using evacuated glass or evacuated chamber, at that time we are using hard glass tube. The hard word is there for this type, that there is inside vacuum, outside weight we are lifting, that is 10,132.5 kg already. And that's why we have to say that when we are living on this earth, we are already bearing out tremendous atmospheric pressure.